Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Peek, where we take a peek into the cosmos. For today's reading, we are going to be looking into your next vacation, when it might be, what might happen when you're on the vacation, and where it might be. There are three piles to choose from today. Pile one is this sponge like looking seashell with little holes in it. Pile two is this spiral like seashell. And pile three is this seashell here that reminds me of a potato chip. Take your time, choose the one that resonates or calls to you. The timestamps will be in the description box, and see you in your piles. Hey, pile one, for those who chose the sponge-like seashell, this is your reading. First, let's find out what you might be doing on this vacation. You guys got the Two of Swords, King of Cups, Page of Wands, Three of Cups, and the Seven of Swords. Right away, I'm seeing that there's some aspect of this vacation that's hidden to you. So it's either this vacation is really important and there's something significant that happens and spirit doesn't want to quite let you know what happens yet, or it could be that you're going with someone. It does seem like you could be going with maybe multiple people with the Three of Cups here. If you're not going with people, you will come back from this vacation with new relationships, maybe friends, maybe more than friends. But back to what I was saying, there's some level of secrecy here with the Two of Swords and the Seven of Swords. With the Two of Swords, she doesn't really look like she knows where she's going. She's indecisive, she's blindfolded, so she's kind of lost. And then the Seven of Swords is all about secrecy and hidden things. So if you're going on this vacation with a specific person or specific people, they are keeping some level of this vacation hidden. It could be that, like, maybe you've been going through a rough time or something, especially with the seashell you chose with the sponge like surface and the holes in it. It looks like it's been through a lot, and that could be representative of your energy prior to going on this vacation. So, let's say your group of friends or maybe a significant other sees that you've been going through a hard time, you've been working really hard, you're running yourself dry, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to take Palawan on a trip and I'm not going to tell them anything. They don't have to worry about paying for it. They don't have to worry about finding a hotel, the itinerary of what we're doing. I'm going to take care of everything. And it could be a King of Cups person. King of Cups represents water signs, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but Scorpio more specifically. So they could be taking the reins and saying, just pack your bags. We're leaving this day, and I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing. Just be ready to have fun and just relax. Um, so I don't see much about what's going to happen during the vacation. Like I said, there's some hidden aspects here, but you will be having fun with the Page of Wands. You will be letting go. Just like she threw her wand in the air, there's a level of like release and letting go and just having fun. Page of Wands is very creative, very passionate, um, very go with the flow kind of energy. So that could be the state of mind you're in while you're on this vacation. There could be some level of community, maybe you finding new friends, like I said, or you deepening the connection with yourself. There's like a spiritual energy here with the way the people are embracing in the Three of Cups and the way the person is sitting in the King of Cups. They look very intentional with their positioning and stance. He kind of looks like he's meditating. So this trip may be a very needed one, and one that you can have fun, again, let go, release some maybe past trauma or past things that have been weighing on you heavily. Next, let's see where you might go. You guys got the Hierophant, the Sun, Ten of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the Seven of Swords again. Definitely some level of secrecy here. Maybe they don't want you to know where you're going to go either. um, But these cards have specific places, specific destinations. So the Hierophant in this represents North Dakota, the Sun represents Egypt, Ten of Cups represents Persia, Queen of Swords represents China, and the Seven of Swords represents Pacific Northwest, I believe. So those could be places you might go, but also I'm looking at the scenery, and it it's giving like a traditional vibe of like maybe the land that you're on is sacred or some sort, because with the Hierophant here, and the Hierophant in this deck represents a healer from like a tribe, with the Queen of Swords and the heads on pikes, it kind of reminds me of like sacred ground. And with the Seven of Swords, the mountain in the back in the woods. So you may be going somewhere where there are a lot of trees, but also water. It could be a mixture of like trees, land, water. You could be on like an island somewhere where you could go on a boat or maybe kayaking or something like that. But there's definitely water here, hard land, trees, like forest, and possibly a volcano. It's kind of reminding me of Hawaii, possibly, somewhere where there's a lot of history, and people take pride in the land that they are inhabiting. And that's what I'm seeing there for where you might go. For when, you guys got Saturn in Gemini with concentration, Mercury in Scorpio with extremism, Moon in Taurus with exaltation, and Venus in Sagittarius with flirtation. So those could be significant indicators of what like season you might be going. So when Saturn is in Gemini, when Mercury is in Scorpio, when the moon is in Taurus, or when Venus is in Sagittarius. Also, Gem and Taurus season are right next to each other, so that could be significant. The cards do kind of remind me of springtime, even though the Sagittarius is here, the flowers and the way that they're blooming and the colors here on the card with the fruitful cornucopia looks like springtime, which would match that Gem Taurus season. But Scorpio is also here. I'm also seeing that you may go on this vacation when someone is romantically interested in you. With excuse me, with Mercury in Scorpio and extremism, it always reminds me of, I don't know if you guys read the book or watched the movie, but Pride and Prejudice, when Mr. Darcy is trying to profess his love to Elizabeth Bennet. And both in the book and the movie, she declines his offer of marriage because she sees him as very arrogant and prideful. But they end up both having prejudice against each other and having these preconceived ideas which were partially correct but partially wrong, and they both grow throughout the story. So someone might be professing their love to you in some way, and you may be into it or you may not be into it. And that could be, maybe if they offer you to take you on a vacation somewhere or something, or if you're friends with someone and then they're like, let's go on a vacation, and during this vacation they express that they have more feelings for you, especially with flirtation too. Either someone could be flirting with you on this trip, or you could that could happen before the trip. So someone could be flirting with you before, and then that's an indicator that you're about to go on this vacation. But there's definitely some level of someone flirting with you or showing romantic interest. And next, let's look at the vibes of this vacation. You guys got roundabout, chess, knight, fortress, and friends. Like I said earlier, You either are going on this vacation with friends, like with people you already know, or you're going to come back from this vacation with new friends, new acquaintances, new relationships with friends. And with Roundabout, Roundabout is all about community, connections, many people working together, and you got three threes. So maybe it's going to be a group of three, including yourself, so you and two friends. Um, or maybe you make two friends while you're out there on the vacation. With chess and strategy and planning, I don't feel like that's you planning. I feel like that's someone else planning. Like I said, I feel like you don't really know um, what you're going to do here. So you could even be going on this vacation on your own and just decide you're going to be spontaneous and you're going to excuse me. Sorry if I keep coughing. I'm recovering from bronchitis, so I may be coughing a lot. Sorry about that. And back to what I was saying though. um I don't feel like you're planning it. So if you're going on this vacation alone, I feel like you're going to be sporadic and spontaneous. And even if that's not your vibe now and you're very like Capricornian, or you're like a Virgo, you like strategy, you like plan, you like an itinerary, maybe you're so tired from dealing with what you've been dealing with at work or in life that you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to go on this vacation and I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm going to let fate lead me wherever it wants to lead me. Um, also though, I'm getting the vibe that you may go on a vacation with like friends or something, right? Or even by yourself. And you may go with a plan, with a strategy. You may have an itinerary. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to this volcano on this day. I'm going to go to the woods on this day, and touristy, vibes this day. And when you get there, you may meet someone, this night person. Earlier, they're also represented by the King of Cups. So maybe they are emotionally mature, but still, very confident and assertive. And anyways, you might meet this person, like let's say you're going out to like a bar or something, and while you're there you end up meeting this person and they start flirting with you, and they notice maybe if you're in a different country, you don't have this, you have a different accent, right? You have a foreign accent, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Well, what are you doing here?" And then you tell them your plan and itinerary, and they're like, "No, no, 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 no. Well, let me help you, because that is not, you're not going to get the best experience you possibly can. Let me plan your trip. Let me help you and take over." And they may, become your tourist in a way, your guide. They tell you where to go and what days you're going to go. They may even offer to be your tourist themselves, where they're like, "Okay, meet me here and I'm going to show you around here." And that could be the energy there. They could be a Leo or a Scorpio, like I said earlier. um but that could happen as well, and that would explain that flirtation card. And with the extremism, that can talk about like taking over, or someone kind of fixed and they're trying to they're extreme in their ways of being persuasive. So again, that could be them taking over your plans and just completely being like, "You know what, don't do what you were planning to do. That's not, you're not going to have fun. That's like the basic stuff. Let me show you the root of this country or this city, and I'll show you a good time." With Fortress, that could be you being in this stubborn energy of kind of like, let's say this person does offer to take you around, to show you around, and you're like, no, I have a plan. I know what I want to do. Like, I'm not going to let you take over completely. And maybe if that's how you normally are, I mean, obviously stay safe. And if you're excuse me, getting bad vibes from this, if you're getting bad vibes from this person, then obviously don't listen to them and don't go along with them. Take precautions. But loosen up a little bit. If you have been struggling and going through this hard time, don't be too strict on your itinerary. Let up, loosen up a bit, like that. You guys got the Page of Wands earlier, and how she let go of the wand. Maybe that's what you have to do. Let go of the reins a little bit. Be a little spontaneous if that's not what you're usually like. I mean, this is vacation, so you want to have fun. You want to do things that you don't normally do safely. Obviously, don't get too wild and put yourself in danger. But oftentimes, where we get uncomfortable is where we see the most growth. And you may, make new friends out of this, or even more, you may have a love interest that comes out of this vacation. That's what I see there. And finally, I picked a charm for each group. And your guys' charm turned out to be this one here, which represents the nine-tailed fox, um, which is interesting because it's all about trickery and deceit. And you guys got the Seven of Swords twice, which again is about the same thing. And so that could be saying that again that there's some level of secrecy that you're not supposed to know when it comes to this trip, or maybe this night person, you perceive them as being kind of like a player, or like, kind of secretive or hidden. But what's interesting is the myth of the nine-tailed fox currently is about deceit and trickery, but I believe when it was first thought up as something, the nine-tailed fox represented peace and prosperity, and it got like jumbled over time into this trickery energy. So maybe you perceive them to be differently than they actually are. And what's also interesting here is these little cherry blossoms that remind me of the flowers in this flirtation card here, the pink flowers in bloom. So, like, you may be going in springtime. Cherry blossoms also remind me of Japan. So, you could be going to Japan, but I believe cherry blossoms originated in China and they just spread to Korea and Japan. So, maybe you're going to Asia on this vacation. Also, I believe cherry blossoms bloom around March to April, which is springtime again. So, springtime is strong here. And that's what I see for you, pile one. Hopefully, you enjoyed. Bye. Hey, pile two, for those who chose the spiral seashell, this is for you. First, let's find out what you might be doing on this vacation. You guys got the Magician, the Eight of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. The first thing that's sticking out to me is the Magician with this. If you look closely, I don't know if you guys can see it, it looks like the Magician is moving air in this circular spiral like motion. And it's reminding me of the spiral seashell that you guys chose. So you could be moving something with your hands while on this vacation. Maybe you take a pottery class or a sculpting class or a painting class. With this Eight of Wands, these wands are actually reminding me of paintbrushes right now. So you definitely could be doing something artsy while on this vacation. Again, something with your hands. The Magician also represents manifestation. So maybe you're manifesting something on this trip, or maybe you manifested this trip. With the Eight of Wands is all about communication, impulsivity, fast energy. So you could be going on this trip to communicate with someone, or maybe you communicate with someone important while on this trip, or something could happen very fast that's out of your control, especially with the Ten of Wands here. Ten of Wands is a completion energy, it's a moving energy. So I'm getting two different energies here. Either some of you end up going on this vacation and you like this country, this city, this town so much that you decide to choose it as your destination as far as you're going to move there to stay there. And for others of you, I'm looking at the number 10, and 10 represents the 10th house, which is all about career and how you're perceived work wise. So some of you could be going on this trip for career, possibly, or maybe you make a career out of it, or there's something with money here, especially with the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is about saving money, kind of a stingy energy. So you could be, maybe you saved up for this vacation, some of you, or um, maybe something happens where you have to save money. Maybe you thought um, something was a specific price and it ends up being that way. Excuse me, sorry for my voice, and if I start coughing, I'm recovering from bronchitis. So sorry about that. Um, Also, though, some of you may be traveling to a country where bargaining is very popular and that's the way that you purchase items. So this could be significant of you, maybe you're bargaining with someone and they're asking for too high of a price and you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna, I no longer want this item, and you like walk away from it. With Page of Cups here, that's kind of a romantic energy. Maybe you're going on this trip with a significant other, or maybe you meet someone there that you find attractive, or maybe they find you attractive, and there's daydreaming and fantasy involved. So you may see someone that you find attractive or that's really nice, and you get romantically interested, or vice versa, and they get romantically interested in you. And that's what I see for what you guys might be doing on this trip. So it may be work related. You may do something with your hands, like painting or sculpting. You may be bargaining a lot. So maybe you're shopping a lot and bargaining with the um, people there to purchase items. There also may be some sort of movement here. Maybe you're staying at a specific place and something happens where you have to change location and you go to a different hotel. Maybe they changed prices, or you booked it and so there was something wrong with the communication. It could be that as well. Maybe you booked a place, and when you get there the booking is no longer showing up there and they're all booked out, or it's too expensive and now you have to find a whole nother hotel or a whole nother place to stay at. Let's see where you might be going on this vacation. Two of Coins, Queen of Cups, Three of Cups, Eight of Coins, and the Five of Cups. Each of these cards represent a specific location. So Two of Coins represents the Pacific Northwest, Queen of Cups represents Nigeria, Three of Cups represents Cambodia, Eight of Coins represents Germany, and Five of Cups represents Mexico. So you could be going to one of those places, but also with the Eight of Coins and the Two of Coins, again back to that 10 of Wands energy earlier, you may be traveling for work or there's some sort of work involved. Maybe this is a business trip. Um, but as far as location, it does look like there's a combination of grass and water. It is giving island vibes, so Cambodia really does stand out, or maybe Nigeria. But when I think of Nigeria, I don't really think of grass, like a lot of grass. So I feel like the place that you're going to has a lot of greenery and a lot of water. Like that's mainly what it is. It's very abundant and fruitful in its greenery, and there's a large body of water where you're going. Yeah, nice balance with the Two of Coins. I feel like that those are the main components. Not a lot of um, rocky mountains or anything like that. It's a lot of greenery and a lot of water. For as to when you might be going, you guys got Saturn in Capricorn. Excuse me. Saturn in Libra with devotion. Oh, I forgot to say the Saturn in Capricorn is riches. Venus in Capricorn with convention. Mars in Capricorn with authority. So a lot of Capricorn energy, a lot of 10th house. Like I said earlier, that 10 of Wands stood out. So 10th house, this could be for work for some of you. And Jupiter in Libra with negotiation. And that even reminds me of work too, of maybe you have to go to negotiate with someone, or earlier, like I said, bargaining. You may be bargaining with workers there. So as to when, you could be going in Capricorn season, definitely with the triple Capricorn here, or maybe Libra season with the two Libras here, or maybe you are planning to go in Libra season and it ends up, being pushed out to Capricorn season. It could be something like that as well. And that could be the transition too with that change. Earlier, like I said, you may be having to move. So it could be the time frame that you had to move. So maybe you're planning to go on this vacation at a specific time and it ends up being turned into something else. But there is a lot of work energy here. Um, so again, this could be a work travel of some sort, especially with authority and riches and negotiation. There's some money involved here, so something may happen with money while on this vacation. Um, but Capricorn and Libra season are standing out, which is an interesting time to go on vacation. I don't hear too many people going on vacation around those times. So maybe this is a work um, vacation or travel of some sort. This may be a business vacation that you end up turning into an actual vacation. So you could be there for specifically for a job, but you have like free time, and during that free time, you go travel around that city, excuse me, or town you're in, and you turn it into a vacation. Also, with the spiral, a seashell you chose, and how the spiral is like a circle and like movement, you could be going to multiple places within this city or town that you're in or country. And there's also something about the sun and moon. So, because they're both in the same position, it's reminding me of the sun and moon being in the same zodiac sign, which happens during a new moon. So, you could be going on this vacation during a new moon, maybe when it's in Capricorn or um, Libra. And finally, let's look at the vibes of this vacation. You guys got well, sap, happening soon, Black Widow, and it's time. It's interesting with the it's time and happening soon card, as that would signify it's happening soon or it's time. But we're nowhere near Capricorn season because we passed it already, and Libra season is a ways away as well. So maybe even some of you are planning this trip like now or sooner, or your job is telling you you're going to go on this trip soon, but it ends up being pushed out to Libra or to Capricorn season. Also, I'm being drawn to this person standing here, and the person appears to have this little bag. It looks like a purse, but they're at a train station, and they're kind of longingly looking at the train, and it's reminding me of um like maybe she didn't get her baggage or something is like lost. She's in this stance that kind of looks like defeated in a way. So maybe that happens in something with your baggage, or like let's say you're traveling somewhere for work, right? And the things that you need to do the work are in your luggage. But when you get to the specific place, okay, maybe you had like layovers, like you had multiple planes to get on in order to get to this destination. And somewhere along the way, they lost your baggage, or, um, something happened where it's delayed and you have to wait, so you can't do your work, so you end up turning it into a vacation. And that goes back to that Four of Pentacles energy of maybe you have to use your savings now because your baggage is gone, so you can't rely on the work stuff to get you a hotel and stuff like that. You have maybe the documents that you needed to prove that you're there for work are in the luggage. So now you have to use your own money and you just turn it into your own vacation sort of thing. Or even maybe if it is a work trip, there's a mix up, a miscommunication with the Eight of Wands, a miscommunication, and your job said that they were going to pay, it was going to be a paid for trip, but when you get there, the hotel is saying, oh no, they didn't book it right. So then you have to come out of your own pocket to pay for it. But there's some like mishap like that with Black Widow, and like a toxic situation or something unexpectedly happening. That could be that as well. With Well, this is all about resources and community. And SAP is also about resources and like needed materials. So it could be again that you're losing needed materials, if your luggage is taken or lost or delayed, and maybe you're stressed about it at first, but then you realize, oh no, this is a blessing because now I've been manifesting this trip, and I thought I was just going to have to work the whole time, but now that the luggage is gone, there's nothing I can do, so might as well turn it into a vacation and relax. Could be something like that. But there's definitely something that unexpectedly happens fast, because with its time, it's all about quick action, and that reminds me of the 8 of Wands you guys got earlier. So definitely something like that could be happening. And I picked a charm for every group. I closed my eyes and picked a charm, and you guys got this piece of paper here, which is about baggage claim. And when you arrive, you have to go claim your baggage. So I really do think something could happen with your luggage. Again, it's delayed or it's lost or something like that could happen, which sucks. But like I said, I think if that does happen, you may be upset about it at first, but then realize it's a blessing in disguise because you end up, getting your luggage delayed, but you end up turning it into a vacation for yourself or something like that. And that's what I see for you, pile two. Hopefully you enjoyed. If your luggage does get lost, hopefully you'll find it. And see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, pile three. If you chose the seashell that reminds me of a potato chip, this is your reading. First, let's find out what you might be doing on this vacation. You guys got the Page of Swords, Judgment, Ace of Wands, the Empress, and the Ten of Cups. With the Page of Swords, during this vacation, you could learn something either about yourself or maybe knowledge about that specific place you're visiting. But there's definitely a level of finding some information out, getting some additional knowledge about a specific subject. With Judgment and this specific depiction, she looks like she's having a big release of herself, maybe of judgment of herself. She's allowing herself to act the way she wants, to be free. So this could be a very freeing experience on this vacation, on this trip. Maybe that's the thing you learn. Maybe you learn to let go a little bit, not to judge yourself too harshly, but to give yourself grace. With Ace of Wands, you could be doing something exciting, but also with the flame here, and it's near the third eye, it's making me think of again like knowledge or receiving some information, maybe some spiritual knowledge or something about your self development. So it may not be about the country, it may be about yourself, something within yourself. Even with the Empress is giving me this feeling of self love, and it's reminding me of, because she's pregnant in this depiction, and she's still very lovingly uh, acting towards herself. And it's reminding me of how some women, when they're pregnant and their body changes, they start, feeling disappointed with the cellulite, with the extra skin that they obtain. But in this imagery, she looks pleased, she looks content, she looks lovingly. Maybe during this journey you learn to love yourself a little bit more, which is interesting. I don't I haven't really heard too many people talk about going on vacation and having this spiritual knowledge or spiritual download and allowing them to love themselves more, but maybe that's something that happens. With Ten of Cups, maybe this is a family vacation, or you're going with other people that feel like a family to you, or it could just be a vacation where you end up coming back feeling very emotionally fulfilled. Maybe your cups are starting to fill up more as far as self-love towards yourself. But there's definitely some knowledge here, some self-knowledge, some deep inner knowledge that you end up obtaining from this vacation. I'm not getting too much of what you could be doing. Maybe something outside in nature. With this network right here of like string, it's reminding me of ropes. So you could be climbing, maybe you're doing something adventurous out there. during this vacation. And even in the Page of Swords, she's balancing on this. It looks like a tightrope, but it's actually a sword. So you could be doing some adventurous, I won't say daredevil type stuff, but something that you need physical exertion to do. You could be dancing with the Judgment card. The figment here looks kind of like a dancer with the flowing dress. So maybe you're taking dance classes out here and during this vacation. Maybe you're someone who doesn't feel like you dance the best, or even if you do, maybe doing these tasks, doing this tightrope or climbing or dancing, maybe you were kind of doubtful at first about doing it, but when you end up doing it and you succeeded at it, and because you saw that you could do that, your opinion of yourself gets a little bigger. You take pride in yourself a little bit more. It could be something like that. You could be on a beach somewhere. I'm looking at the Empress's sort of nudity. So you could be maybe wearing a bathing suit, or some of you could be going to a nude beach of some sort. Even in the Ten of Cups, so that also looks like a beach. So you could be going out there relaxing. Next, let's look at where you might be going on vacation. You guys got the Page of Wands, the King of Wands, the Page of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Each of these cards represents a specific location. So Page of Wands represents Nyanga in Africa. King of Wands represents East Asia. Page of Swords represents Turkey, Anatolia specifically, and the Wheel of Fortune represents um, Africa as well. It represents Ghana. So you could be going to one of those places, but what I'm mainly seeing is this place is hot, possibly all year round, or if not all year round, when it's summertime or when it's hot over there, it's extremely hot. Like the sun and the King of Wands and the fire on the bird, it looks very hot. It looks very tropical with the Page of Wands here, the fruit in the background here. So you could be going to an island of some sort, a very tropical island, um, somewhere where they may perform for you their traditional ritual of dancing. When I'm looking at the Page of Wands, that's what this person here is. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm probably going to keep coughing. I'm recovering from bronchitis, so I apologize for my voice and coughing. But yes, so the Page of Wands is reminding me of when the people from that specific place perform and they do their traditional dance that originated in that area. Um, but definitely somewhere hot, like I said, could be somewhere sandy where there's a lot of sand, a lot of dry earth. But I'm also seeing greenery here, and these plants here reminding me of palm trees. So definitely somewhere tropical, somewhere very hot, somewhere where there's a lot of sun. Um, yes. And next, let's look at when you might be going. You guys got the sun in Taurus, the moon in Gemini with adaptability. Sun in Taurus is acquisition. Sun in Cancer is resourcefulness. Moon in Scorpio with power. So with Taurus, Gem, Cancer, that's all near summertime. Taurus and Gem are in spring, and then transition into Cancer, which is summer. So you could be going during one of those seasons. Scorpio is also here though, so some of you might be going in Scorpio, but also with this card, I'm looking at the gradient change in color in the background, and it's reminding me of transitioning. So you guys could be going in the transition from spring into summer. So again, near Gem, Cancer season, right when it's transitioning from spring into summer. Again, because it's going to be hot whenever you go, so that makes sense of why it would be in summer. When I'm looking at this card adaptability, the way that this person is standing kind of looks like they're using this person as a surfboard. So maybe you're going again to the beach, maybe you're going surfing and you're trying something new. With resourcefulness, this little, it looks like an artifact with the tribal pattern. Um, could be look. It looks like it could be something from like Africa or somewhere where there's a lot of history on tribal tribal things. But that's what I'm seeing as for a time frame. And next, let's look at the vibes of the vacation while you're there. You guys got handcuffs, roadblock, unchanged, uncertain, and rings. It's very interesting because earlier, when the first question of what's going to happen, it was very positive, very light, all about self love. But this energy here is kind of restrictive: handcuffs, roadblock, unchanged, uncertain. There's a lot of pondering energy and a lot of trapped energy here. And then you have rings with contracts, agreements, bonds, partnership. So either you're going on this vacation with another person, and while you're there, maybe you guys come across some issue, excuse me, that you're having either with each other, or just something is brought up within the relationship that causes a challenge. And that's not to say that that is going to be the end all be all of the relationship, because at the end of it, remember, you, or not the end of it, but what happens while you're there, you guys got the Empress, which is all about abundance and love, and the Ten of Cups, which is a very happy, fulfilling energy. So, whatever the outcome is, I feel like you're going to be satisfied with it. Maybe not in the beginning, but it will fulfill you emotionally. Either maybe you're unhappy in this relationship when you go out there, when you go on this vacation with this person, and whatever happens ends up solving the problem that you guys were having. Or maybe you were planning to go on this trip with a specific person, but they had to cancel for some reason. And so this kind of became a solo trip. And while you're there, you're really thinking about everything and you're coming to terms with the relationship you have with yourself, with others, and you deepen that bond. But there is definitely some level of loneliness you may be, or not loneliness, but secludedness you may be feeling. And that's not to say that it's a bad thing, but it's just giving you alone time to really ponder, to really think, and like I said, to deepen your connection with yourself. During this trip, you could be realizing, oh, like earlier I said, you're going to be learning something, right? Some inner knowledge. During this trip, you could use that time to ponder, when you're out in nature and have time to relax. Sometimes that deepens your thinking, where you have a realization, especially if you've been working hard a lot. Sometimes it's difficult to realize what's been bothering you or what's wrong, but when you in a relaxed state, the answers come. So it could be that maybe when you're on this trip, you have a question about something and it ends up getting answered, or you've been feeling very controlled and defenseless and blocked, and this trip ends up fixing that for you in some way, whether that is um, focused on work or relationships. Because with rings, it talks about contracts. So that could be a romantic contract, as in a relationship with someone, or it could be like a business contract. So maybe you're pondering something about your job, or about um, just some connection you have in regards to something you view as important that has been weighing on you heavily. And during this time, you come to a conclusion about it, and you end up making a decision, or you learn something that helps you make a decision regarding that thing that's been weighing on you. And finally, I picked a charm for each group, and your guys' charm is this bird here. And this bird reminds me of it's called the Qian bird. Probably not pronouncing that right, but it's in Chinese mythology. And the myth is that the Qian bird is born with one eye and one wing, and it needs its counterpart, the other Qian bird. It's normally pronounced Qian Qian, which, because you need the two birds in order to fly, because they each only have one wing and they each only have one eye. When they combine and come together, it's easier for them to fly. Well, they can't fly with one wing, so they can fly when they're together, and it's easier to see when they're together. But because you got the one bird, again, there's this level of secludedness, of maybe you pondering, maybe if you are alone and you're wondering why you're alone, or if someone had to cancel and you're questioning your relationship with them. um, it helps you deepen the bond with yourself, like I said. And it's interesting because in this depiction of the Tian bird, the bird has two wings here, so the bird can fly on its own. And maybe that's what you come to realize during this vacation. Whether you go with other people or you go alone, you become more confident in what you can do on your own, that you don't really need anyone, that you don't have to be controlled or feel defenseless because of someone else, but you are your own person and you don't really require anyone else to have a good time, to have fun, to do the things that you want to do, to accomplish your dreams. You know, you become more grounded and stable and just confident and sure of yourself during this trip. You get some inner deeper knowledge, some inner confidence. Uh, you acquire that during this vacation. And that's what I see for you, Pile 3. Hopefully you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.
Take a deeper look for what you see.